Hi, Jason Knott with CE Pro, and I'm excited to be joined today by David Vogel, Senior Inside Sales Manager at Environmental Lights. Hi, David.
Hi, Jason. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for joining me today. Let's talk a little bit about Environmental Lights before we dig into this whole revolution that's happening in the lighting category. Tell us about Environmental Lights.
So Environmental Lights was founded in 2004. We are headquartered here in sunny San Diego, California. We were really founded with a principle of engineering, of quality, of engineering. We started selling a little bit of everything when it came to lighting, and then we really got hyper-focused on linear lighting solutions, specific LED strip light, and other low-voltage solutions.
Fantastic. So I know in speaking with people from Environmental Lights and also integrators who are using the line, I've heard the term own the ceiling come up. What is that in reference to?
Yeah, so own the ceiling is a phrase that we really like here at Environmental Lights. It's very emblematic of the opportunity that exists for integrators that are willing to take on lighting and make it part of their service portfolio. There's a literal meaning and a figurative meaning. The literal meaning is that integrators are purchasing, they're selling, and potentially installing a high quality, intelligent lighting solutions into their client ceilings. We've talked with a bunch of integrators, and inevitably, whether or not they actually sold the lights or specified the lights, if there's an issue with the lights, they're getting those service calls and they need to come out to the job site and fix things. So we figure, why shouldn't they be the ones selling the lighting? And furthermore, if they're picking out the lighting solution, a high quality one like Environmental Lights has to offer, frankly, they won't have to worry about those service calls. So that's owning the ceiling in a literal sense. The figurative sense is just owning the potential of a project, just gaining that additional wallet share, and really just owning the overall potential in the ceiling.
And that goes hand in hand with multi-room audio speakers that they're already putting in the ceiling. So it makes sense that they're already up on ladders. They're already running the wire there for the speakers. Why not do the lighting too? So for integrators to get involved in LED lighting, there's some terminology that I think they need to understand. And again, even from my standpoint, I don't know really what some of the different types of lights are. Can you explain, for example, like hand down lighting versus accent lighting versus ornamental lighting? There's all sorts of different lighting terminology out there and types.
Yeah, 100%. And we probably can't cover all of them during this interview. And I do want to mention that we have a team of highly trained, excellent customer service, inside sales engineers here at Environmental Lights. So don't feel overwhelmed if you're an integrator. You don't have to learn it all right off the bat. You have somebody here working with you hand in hand, making sure that you understand what's going on. But the basics of it are, so for can down lighting is what you would use for the general illumination of a room. It's the main source of ambient light in a room, which gets into our Revy line here in a little bit. Accent lighting is more what we would use for LED strip light. It's what you see in cove lights, underneath toe kicks, underneath cabinets. You wouldn't use it as a main source of light in a room, but it just does so much to make a room pop. It just adds so much to an environment. You walk in, you have accent lighting, it just changes the whole feeling of a room. When it comes to can down lighting, there's so many different types. There's high voltage fixtures, there's PoE or power over Ethernet. And what we found that we found the sweet spot with the Revy line. With high voltage fixtures, you have to worry about running heavy conduit and high voltage wires everywhere. PoE, you often can't get the high output that you want that you can with a low voltage fixture. So again, we've really found it's the sweet spot in between those two.
Not to mention line voltage fixtures require an electrical license, and about half of integrators have that actual electricals license for their company, the other half partners. So by going with things like the Revy line or the low voltage option, they don't have to have that license in hand. So you mentioned Revy. What does that stand for, first of all, Revy?
So Revy is a unique name. It stands for remote voltage illumination. It's unique in that you don't have to run those high voltage wires to a power supply that's built into the fixture. The enemy of LEDs is heat, and when you have that power supply right next to the actual light, that's where you start to have failures. So by having a remote power supply up to 300 feet away, you eliminate those issues with that heat and those potential failure points.
Why is the Revy line ideal for integrators from an installation standpoint as well as an inventory efficiency standpoint?
So the Revy line is great from that standpoint in a few different ways. The way it's ordered is all a la carte. It's completely modular, it's configurable, you can mix and match different pieces. So here's a preliminary spec sheet of some of our 3-inch downlight fixtures. From top to bottom, you can see the different components that we sell. And again, this is all going to be a la carte. So we have our light engine. There's a 9 volt, an 18 volt, and a 36 volt option. Those coordinate approximately to about 500 lumen, 1000 lumen, and 2000 lumen fixture. We have different optics. So if you want a wider lens to wash around an area or a narrow lens, different media inserts or diffusers, baffles. So if you have a fixed or an adjustable baffle, you can fix that on the job site. There's many different trim options and mounting frames. So if you're on a job site, traditionally, if you say don't want something that's as bright, or maybe you have a fixture and it's washing down on a screen and you're getting glare and you want to angle that light away, traditionally you would have to buy a brand new fixture, and that's just not the case with the Revy line. You can just get a baffle, pop it out, put an adjustable baffle in there and shine it away. Same things with the different engines. If you want something maybe that's more bright for an area or less bright, you can just pop that light engine in and out.
It sounds efficient, not just from the standpoint of the inventory that they might be carrying in their shops, but on the trucks too. They could just walk back out to the truck, and because you see change orders happen from customers who might want to have a piece of artwork placed in a certain place or something like that, and the integrator has to make those changes on the fly. He'd be able to do that with the Revy line.
100%. And we are very, very responsive here at Environmental Lights. We have a deep, deep inventory of both our linear solutions and the Revy line. So we can ship out often same day. So if there is something that you don't have on site, we can get it to you as early as the next morning.
How does an integrator become a dealer for the Revy line? What does he need to do?
So there is very little barrier to entry to start selling the Revy line. We found that in the integrator market, there's a lot of barriers to entry. You have to go through different training programs. You have to get licensed. You have to get certified. That's just not the case with Environmental Lights program. Now, that being said, there is a little bit of a learning curve. So we would want to partner with an integrator, make sure that they're selling the right products for the right project.
So the Revy line also has various color options as well as power supply options. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's going to be a 2700K downlight option, a 3000K downlight option. We also have some intelligent power supplies that I can share. In addition to that, those downlights that we were already talking about, we're also coming out with some commercial lights. By commercial lights, I mean high bay lights, things that you can use that are really, really bright that would use in a warehouse or a gym or more of a large commercial building. And then we have these intelligent power supplies that I'd love to share with you. So here's a preliminary sketch of some of our intelligent low voltage power supplies. So they're intelligent because they actually send out a DMX RDM enabled control signal out to these fixtures. They are either a 4-channel or a 12-channel power supply. And on each channel, you can get potentially up to 4 of our intelligent fixtures. You can dim these fixtures down to 0.1%, which is incredibly impressive. It's a huge value add, especially for high-end residences.
Something that's also really important to the dealers is the ability to control the lights with some of the third-party control automation systems. Is Revy suitable or compatible with some of those systems?
Yeah, 100%. We know that different integrators have different control companies that they swear by, that they prefer. We like to joke at Environmental Lights that we're control agnostic. It doesn't matter to us what control company you prefer. It can interface seamlessly with our Revy line. It's DMX and RDM enabled, so any sort of a DMX module that you can integrate with your control system would work with our power supplies. That goes the same with our linear solutions as well. We can integrate our linear solutions that we're already selling seamlessly with those same control companies to go along with the Revy line.
What are some of the compliance measures that Environmental Lights has taken for its products?
Yeah, 100%. So we're selling these Revy fixtures all across the country. We know that there's different regulations and codes across the country. I can tell you that these power supplies and fixtures are all going to be UL listed. They're class 2, which means that they're safe. They're low voltage, so there's a lot less issues with risk of fire and things of that nature. They're also going to be Title 24 for the state of California, which is very, very important. The last thing I'll mention is that both the 9 and 18 volts fixed fixtures from the Revy line are going to be IC rated, which is very, very important as well.
Are there any other important elements to the Revy line that integrators will like?
Yeah, the last thing I'll mention about the Revy line, and this really extends beyond the Revy line to the products we're selling right now in terms of the linear LED strip light, is that we offer a 5-year warranty with our products. That means that integrators can sell these jobs with confidence, they can sell it and they can move on to their next job. Environmental Lights really takes pride in sourcing the highest quality components through our supply chain to make sure that nothing's going to fail in the field.